Hi there, it's Meonicorn, and today I'm back again with another Chinese literature videos, and I'm going to talk about the 4 great classical novels in China. And I'm very excited lately because I'm planning a read-along for one of the books that I'm going to introduce today. It is called The Story of the Stone, which is also called Dream of Red Chamber. And more details to come next Monday, and the read-along will start October the 1st. So there's still a long time to prepare, but stay tuned to the announcement video for that read-along. So back to the topic of today. Apparently there are 4 novels that stand out, and they were called 4 great classical novels. So why are they so great? One of the reasons is because they are the ones that made people realize the value of novels. Yes, you didn't hear me wrong. Before these 4 novels, people, especially the Chinese literature scholar, didn't recognize novel as one of the higher levels of literature format. Although that literature format should be equal rights to all different genres, but at that time, before these 4 novels, the value of novel wasn't recognized by Chinese scholars. So it was these 4 novels, along with some of other ones, that made people realize the power of novels. And also they are the ones which was written in both classical Chinese and also vernacular Chinese, so it's easier for people to understand. And the first novel I want to mention today is the youngest among the 4 novels and also my favorite. So you can guess it's The Story of the Stone, and also called Dream of Red Chamber. And these are my English editions, and I also have my Chinese editions with me. And because they are so heavy together, I'm going to only hold the first volume of the English edition. And it is written by Cao Xueqin in the 18th century. It is a beautiful family saga, and people believe it is a semi-autobiography fiction which is inspired by the author's own family. And because of the author's family was really huge, so this book has a lot of characters, and it is a very good observation of the social structure of Qing dynasty. And also people believe it contains a lot of mystery about the whole empire, so which is another reason why people are study it and also still analyze it until today. The story happened in a very big family called Jia family, like the last name of them is Jia, and the family has 2 main branches, which is Rongguo House and Ningguo House. With the fear of the emperor, the Jia family can do whatever they want, basically. And one of the main characters, who is also the most important one, is called Bao Yu. His name means the treacherous jade. It is because when he was born, he has a special treacherous jade hidden in his mouth. So it didn't make any sense if you put the background of the story in the real world. But this treacherous jade was actually from the sky or the heaven, and it was born to our world to learn about the human existence and the mortal realm. The book centers on Bao Yu's relationship with a lot of other peoples, mainly the females in his family, and the book is actually a great tragedy. Like I said, this is a favorite of mine. I like the characterization of the book and also the observation of the society and the mystery that might hidden inside the book. And the book has in total 120 chapters, and sadly, only the first 80 chapters was written by its original writer called Cao Xueqin, and it is said the last 40 chapters was lost in history. But there were another writer called Gao Ye, who very friendly or very kind-heartedly continued the story for another 40 chapters and give it an ending. So when reading it, just keep in mind only the first 80 chapters was written by the original author, and the ending that you are reading might not be the ending that the author had in mind. And as I mentioned before, the details of the read-along will come next Monday, and I'm going to read both of the Chinese and English edition together to compare the translation as well. And second book on the list is called Water Margin by Shi Nai'an, and it is the oldest book among all the 4 great classical novels, and it is not only the first book among these 4 books, it is the first book that was written chapter by chapter in the history of Chinese literature. The story was set in Song dynasty, and there are in total of 108 heroes who were actually outlaws. They gathered in a mountain called Mount Liang and formed an army of their own and planning their revolt. The focus of this book was not all about their revolt, but also about how they became outlaws. And each of them has individual and fantastic background stories, and together they formed a vivid picture of the life of Song Dynasty. The next book on the list was called The Romance of Three Kingdoms by Luo Guanzhong. It is also written in Song Dynasty, but it was a historical fiction at that time, meaning that the setting of the story was way before Song Dynasty. It is actually inspired by an actual historical period in China called the Three Kingdom period, which is in between the year of 169 to the year of 280. It follows three powers called Cao Wei, Shu Han, and Dongwu, with a lot of characters who were the expert of the art of war. This book dealt with a lot of military battles, the intrigues and the struggles between each powers, and also a complex relationship between people. Some people misunderstood this book and actually thought it was the actual history happened in the history of China. So it is important to say that, as the title suggested, this book was a romanticized or a dramatized version of that period. And my tripod just shifted, so please don't be surprised if you see some different angle. And we are moving to our last book on the list, which is called Journey to the West, or also called Monkey King in some of the translation, by Wu Cheng'en. It is a fantasy novel on the list, and also it is an extended account of a true event where a monk called Xuanzang went to the West, aka Central Asia and India, to get the secret text of Buddhism. On the road, he met three of his apprentices, who's called Sun Wukong, and he is also called Monkey King, and also Zhu Bajie and Sha Wujing. And in total, they met 81 difficulties. They need to overcome them in order to get the secret text of Buddhism. This book was actually a huge combination of Chinese folk religion, Chinese mythology, and also the philosophy of Confucianist and Taoist and also Buddhist. And that's all for today's 4 classical novels, and as you can tell, I spent most of the time talking about the story of the stone. It is not only because I'm going to do the read-along, although like the most reason is because I'm going to do a read-along, but also because this is my main focus of my the first season of Chinese literature video series. So if that goes well, maybe in the coming years or coming more years, I'll read more Chinese classical novels with you guys together. So I hope you are as excited as I am, and also I think we need a hashtag for the read-along, so please give me any of your suggestions. I hope you'll find this video helpful, and leave any questions if you have on the comment section down below. And in the meantime, happy reading! See you next time! Bye!